The power of self-validation, unleashing your authentic self. Welcome everyone to this special episode of the BlackCEO Podcast. Today we're diving deep into a topic that touches the very core of our existence, the power of self-validation and embracing our true worth. I'm thrilled to share with you the profound insights and life-changing wisdom I gained from interviewing the remarkable Kenyatta Nicole. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a bit about Kenyatta. She's not just a natural hairstylist, trichologist, entrepreneur, and educator. She's a beacon of authenticity in a world that often pressures us to conform. As the founder of Nora Hair Products, Kenyatta has dedicated her life to empowering individuals, particularly women, to embrace their natural beauty and, more importantly, their authentic selves. Her impact extends far beyond the realm of hair care. She's igniting a revolution of self-love and self-acceptance that's changing lives and reshaping our understanding of personal worth. Have you ever found yourself in that all too familiar moment of self-doubt? You know the one I'm talking about. It's that split second where you're about to speak up in a meeting, but then that little voice in your head whispers, "Are you sure you're smart enough to say this?" Or maybe it's when you're getting ready for a date and you catch yourself wondering, am I attractive enough? Interesting enough? Just enough? If you're nodding your head right now, congratulations. You're human. And like most humans, you probably spend a good chunk of your life on what I like to call the approval treadmill. It's exhausting, isn't it? Always running, always striving, always seeking that nod of approval from others. And the kicker? No matter how fast you run, you never seem to get anywhere. This constant quest for external validation isn't just tiring, it's a form of self-betrayal. It's like we're all carrying around these invisible judges, these phantom critics, who we allow to determine our worth. And let me tell you, these judges, they're lousy at their jobs. They're biased, they're inconsistent, and worst of all, they're not even real. Kenyatta Nicole knows this struggle all too well. Growing up, she was the poster child for seeking validation, whether it was in school, at home, or even in casual conversations. She felt this constant pressure to prove herself. It wasn't just about being good enough. It was about being perfect. Can you relate? This need for external approval isn't something we're born with. It's a learned behavior, often rooted in our childhood experiences. We learn early on that to be loved, to be accepted, we need to please others. And so we become these little approval-seeking missiles, constantly adjusting our trajectory based on the reactions of those around us. But here's the thing about seeking external validation. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much approval you get, it never feels like enough. You're always left wanting more, always feeling a little empty, a little lacking. And in that process, you lose sight of who you truly are. Imagine for a moment that you're at a party. You're wearing this amazing outfit that you absolutely love. It makes you feel confident, powerful, and totally you. But as you mingle, you overhear someone make a snarky comment about your clothes. Suddenly, that outfit that made you feel like $1,000,000 feels all wrong. You spend the rest of the night feeling self-conscious, wishing you'd worn something else. That, my friends, is the power of external validation, or in this case, the lack of it. In an instant, someone else's opinion can completely change how we feel about ourselves. But why? Why do we give others this power over our self-worth? Kenyatta's journey of self-discovery and healing is a powerful reminder that the most important validation comes from within. It's a journey that many of us need to embark on, a journey of unlearning and relearning, of peeling back the layers of societal expectations and childhood wounds to reveal the authentic self beneath. So let's dive deeper into this journey. Let's explore how we can shift from seeking external validation to embracing self-validation, and why this shift is crucial not just for our personal growth, but for our success in every aspect of life. The first step in this journey is recognizing the patterns of seeking external validation in our lives. For Kenyatta, this realization came in adulthood when she started diving into her personal growth journey. She had to face the truth. She was carrying wounds from her past that was silently controlling her present. She had to ask herself, who am I without the opinions of others? Who am I when I stop seeking approval? These are powerful questions, and they're questions that many of us need to ask ourselves. Because the truth is, when we're constantly seeking approval from others, we're not living our own lives. We're living a version of ourselves that we think others want to see. We're making decisions based on how they'll look to others rather than what genuinely feels right for us. Think about it. How many times have you held back from pursuing a dream because you were afraid of what others might think? How often have you dimmed your light, toned down your personality, or swallowed your words because you were worried about fitting in? This pattern of seeking external validation often starts in childhood. As children, we learn to measure our worth by how much we can please others. We want to be liked, to be accepted, to feel worthy. And because of that, many of us become perfectionists in many ways. We overanalyze our actions. We replay conversations in our heads. We constantly wonder if we said the right thing or if we're good enough. But what we don't realize is that this constant seeking of approval is actually a form of self-betrayal. We're so busy trying to make everyone else happy that we don't even know what truly makes us happy. We lose ourselves in the process of trying to be what we think others want us to be. So how do we break this cycle? How do we shift from seeking external validation to embracing self-validation? The first step is awareness. We need to become aware of the moments when we're seeking external validation. Notice when you are making decisions based on what others might think rather than what feels right for you. Pay attention to the times when you're hesitating to speak your truth because you're afraid of judgment. Once we're aware of these patterns, we can start to challenge them. We can start to ask ourselves, what do I really want? What feels true for me? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of judgment? This is where the real work begins. Because shifting from external validation to self-validation isn't just about changing our behavior. It's about changing our entire relationship with ourselves. It's about learning to trust our own voice, to value our own opinions, to believe in our own worth. Kenyatta's journey is a powerful example of this. She had to teach herself that her voice mattered, that her feelings were valid, and most importantly, that she didn't need outside approval to be enough. This wasn't an easy process. It took years of unlearning, of peeling back the layers, of confronting the painful reality that she had placed her self-worth in the hands of people who weren't responsible for defining her. One of the biggest breakthroughs for Kenyatta was realizing that validation starts from within. She started affirming herself in ways she had never done before. Instead of waiting for someone to tell her she was smart, beautiful, or worthy, she began telling herself those things daily. And it wasn't just words, it was a shift in mindset. This is a practice that we can all adopt. Start each day by affirming your own worth. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. My voice matters. It might feel uncomfortable at first, even silly, but stick with it. Because the more you affirm your own worth, the less you'll need that affirmation from others. Another powerful practice is to start making decisions based on what feels aligned with your spirit rather than what you think others expect of you. This doesn't mean disregarding others' feelings or being selfish. It means honoring your own truth, even when it's uncomfortable. For Kenyatta, this meant stepping into her power as a business owner, a natural hairstylist, a trichologist, and an educator. It meant building a brand that empowers other women to embrace who they are, whether it's through hair care, self-care, or personal growth. And she does it all without needing a single person's permission. This is the power of self-validation. When we validate ourselves, we give ourselves permission to take up space, to pursue our dreams, to live authentically. We stop waiting for someone else to tell us it's okay to be who we are. We give ourselves that permission. But let's be clear, this journey isn't always easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old patterns of seeking external validation creep back in. That's okay. Healing isn't linear. Growth isn't always comfortable. The important thing is to keep going, to keep choosing yourself, to keep affirming your own worth. Because here's the truth. You are already enough just as you are. You don't need anyone's validation to be worthy of love, of success, of happiness. You are worthy simply because you exist. Your voice matters. Your feelings are valid. Your dreams are important. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you truly believed this. Imagine how differently you would show up in the world if you weren't constantly seeking approval. Imagine the decisions you would make, the risks you would take, the boundaries you would set if you were fully confident in your own worth. This is the life that's waiting for you on the other side of self-validation. It's a life of freedom, of authenticity, of true self-expression. It's a life where you're no longer held back by the fear of judgment or the need for approval. It's a life where you're free to be fully, unapologetically you. And here's the beautiful thing. When you start living this way, you inspire others to do the same. You create a ripple effect of authenticity and self-love. You give others permission to embrace their true selves, to speak their truth, to pursue their dreams. This is what Kenyatta Nicole is doing through her work. She's not just helping women embrace their natural hair. She's helping them embrace their natural selves. She's showing them that they don't need to conform to anyone else's standards of beauty or success. She's empowering them to define those standards for themselves. Now, I want to share a powerful story that illustrates the transformative power of self-validation. This is the story of Sarah, a client of Kenyatta's who came to her not just for a hair appointment, but for a life-changing experience. Sarah had always struggled with her natural hair. Growing up, she was told that her hair was too wild, unprofessional, and needed to be tamed. For years, she straightened her hair, trying to fit into a mold that society had created for her. But every time she looked in the mirror, she felt like she was looking at a stranger. When Sarah first came to Kenyatta, she was at a breaking point. She was tired of fighting against her natural self, but she was terrified of embracing it. What would people think? Would she be taken seriously at work? Would she be considered attractive? Kenyatta listened to Sarah's fears and concerns, but instead of just giving her a new hairstyle, Kenyatta gave Sarah something much more valuable: permission to be herself. She helped Sarah see the beauty in her natural curls, the power in her unique appearance, and the strength in embracing her true self. The transformation wasn't just physical. As Sarah learned to love and accept her natural hair, she began to love and accept other parts of herself too. She became more confident at work, speaking up in meetings and pursuing opportunities she would have previously shied away from. She started setting boundaries in her personal relationships, no longer bending over backwards to please others at the expense of her own well-being. Sarah's story is a powerful reminder of what can happen when we start validating ourselves instead of seeking validation from others. It's not just about hair. It's about giving ourselves permission to be who we truly are in all aspects of our lives. So, as we wrap up this talk, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next week, I want you to practice self-validation. Every morning, look in the mirror and affirm your own worth. Throughout the day, notice the moments when you're seeking external validation and instead ask yourself, what do I think? What do I feel? What do I want? And most importantly, I want you to give yourself permission. Permission to take up space. Permission to speak your truth. Permission to pursue your dreams. Permission to be fully, authentically you. Remember, you do not need anyone's validation to be enough. You're already enough, just as you are. Don't let the weight of past wounds or societal expectations keep you from stepping into the person you were meant to be. You have the power to rewrite your story, to heal, to love yourself deeply, and to walk boldly in your truth. And if you're still on that journey, keep going. It's worth it. You're worth it, because when you validate yourself, when you embrace your own worth, you open up a world of possibilities. You become unstoppable. Now, I want to leave you with a call to action, a challenge, if you will, to disrupt the status quo of your life and step into your authentic power. Starting today, I want you to become a rebel against self-doubt, a revolutionary in the battle for self-love. Here's what I want you to do. First, identify one area of your life where you've been seeking external validation. Maybe it's in your career, your relationships, or even in how you dress. Now, I want you to make a bold move in that area, one that's true to you, regardless of what others might think. If you've been holding back on pursuing a passion project because you're afraid of judgment, start it today. If you've been dressing to please others rather than yourself, wear that outfit that makes you feel amazing, even if it's not trendy. Second, start a self-validation journal. Every day for the next month, write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself. Not things others have complimented you on, but things you genuinely love about yourself. This isn't about being arrogant. It's about recognizing your own worth. Third, become a self-validation advocate. Share what you've learned with others. When you see someone in your life seeking external validation, gently remind them of their inherent worth. Be the change you want to see in the world. Remember, this journey of self-validation isn't just about you. It's about creating a world where we all feel free to be our authentic selves. A world where we lift each other up instead of tearing each other down. A world where our worth isn't determined by likes, followers, or societal standards, but by the simple fact of our existence. So I'll leave you with this question. What would you do? Who would you be
if you truly believed in your own worth? The answer to that question is your path forward. It's your invitation to a life of authenticity, of purpose, of true fulfillment. Don't just listen to this talk and nod in agreement. Take action. Be bold. Be brave. Be you, because the world needs your authentic self, not a watered down version trying to please everyone else. You have the power to validate yourself. Use it, embrace it, and watch as it transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Because when we validate ourselves, we give others permission to do the same. And that, my friends, is how we change the world, one self affirming step at a time. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self discovery and empowerment. Now go out there and show the world the real, authentic, amazing you.